Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.
Kermit Staggers would like to make an announcement about his future political plans.
It has been a wonderful time working on the city council, but also working in the state legislature as a state senator. So for approximately 20 years, I've been part of elected office. And I want to thank the citizens of Sioux Falls for allowing me to have this opportunity. It's been wonderful. And I would encourage people to run for office. We are very fortunate here in Sioux Falls and South Dakota to be able to do this. You can't say that about every community or every state in the Union. We are very fortunate here.
So what are you thinking about now that you've decided that you're going to make this official, that at least you'll sit out a little time before you think about running again for something?
Well, you know, I hope in the near future I'm able to run for office again too, because once again I've really enjoyed it, and I've really had a privilege to serve the citizens of Sioux Falls and also South Dakota too. So yeah, I hope that we can be doing this in the near future. Running for office, I also like running for office too, getting out there and meeting people. And it's not everybody who runs for elected office really likes out there campaigning, but I've always enjoyed it a great deal. And then once elected to office, especially on the city council, people oftentimes stop me, you know, in Hy-Vee or other stores where I might be at, and talk to me. And many times I do not know who these people are, but they're just very nice in engaging in conversation with me, and I enjoy that a great deal too.
Without putting you on the spot, but what do you think your accomplishments have been in the state legislature and even in city government? That
Yes. Well, in state government, when I first got in the state senate, I immediately started talking about revising or getting rid of the inheritance tax in South Dakota. Because at that time, we had a terrible inheritance tax. And so I began immediately trying to get legislation passed to modify or to get rid of it. And that was a very difficult time because the Department of Revenue, they didn't want to get rid of the inheritance tax at all. They wanted to continue with it. But I remember one time before State Affairs Committee, Senate State Affairs Committee, I had my bill up every year to do something about the inheritance tax. And I remember I had these West River women who were sitting next to me, and they liked that bill that I had, and they told me that. And I told them, well, it's not going to pass. What? It's not going to pass? It's really a good bill. No, it's not going to pass. And so what happened, it got to the point where it was time for me to testify in favor of it, and also some other people who were supporters of this too. And we did very good with our testimony. And then we had one official from the Department of Revenue saying, no, we can't afford this, getting rid of the inheritance tax. And that was it. And then we had a vote. And the vote was to kill the bill. And these women, these West River women, were so surprised by this. And they went out and got signatures on a petition to have a constitutional amendment voted on by the citizens of South Dakota to get rid of the inheritance tax. And I helped them out, but they did a lot of the work, getting all these signatures by going to different fairs during the summertime. And they ended up with about 45,000 signatures. And so it got on the ballot here in South Dakota. I think it was about 2,000. And the result was we got rid of the state inheritance tax by a vote of 80% in favor of getting rid of it, 20% getting rid of it. So to me, that's one of the major accomplishments. We had a lot of help on that, but it was a good thing to get rid of it. It was during Janklow's administration. And even though he was in favor of keeping the inheritance tax, he also realized that you better not speak out about it, because he realized the citizens of South Dakota were going to be against it. And he was right. The inheritance tax, we got rid of it. And then on the city council, right from the beginning when I was on the city council, I began to focus on snow gates. And we had an interesting time early on, trying to get the administration to get rid of snow gates, and that just never really worked at all. And then we have Teresa Staley, who got out, who became aware of this issue, got signatures, and allowed the citizens to vote on it. And of course, we all know what happened there. The citizens of Sioux Falls voted to have snow gates to help, people when they, have their cars, leaving their homes, not to have these ice,
Ice dams?
That's right. And so, hey, we have that. And now this year, of course, we have the snow gates. And I've only heard really good things about the snow gates. So I'm glad we're successful there, too. And another important thing is I've tried to emphasize that the city of Sioux Falls, we do have lots of money. And why do we have to have a property tax increase each year? Well, we should not have that. And so I've always been focusing on trying to get rid of the increase in property tax each year. So those are a couple of issues here in the city of Sioux Falls I've focused on.
Well, those of us who have been watching you all these years, some from afar and some up close, we've always appreciated that you've been a big transparency advocate. The cleaning up of the ethics board process.
Oh yes.
We both have had issues with it.
We both have had issues with that, and that's something that we have to be very careful about. Because in politics, all you have to do is say Board of Ethics, and it's kind of like, hey, you've done something wrong, and it's not a good issue to be bringing up, Board of Ethics, because it's so easy to make somebody look, well, bad, I guess you could say, just by saying Board of Ethics. And so we've got to focus a lot of attention on this can be used to hurt people, and we don't want that to happen either.
We need to clean up the process in a lot of different areas, and those of us that have been working for all these years to try and get more transparency in government appreciate what you've done.
Well, thank you very much, because a government really is supposed to serve the people. And if you don't have transparency, I mean, how are you serving the people? And so we should always constantly focus on that to make sure that we don't have questionable activities taking place in government.
Well, as you might remember from the presentation at City Council the other night, and when George was up there talking about the lumpy siding on the event center.
Yes.
We
still need to know more about that, and we don't have a lot of good information on why we have the siding on the event center.
Well,
being so,
we've got another September 8th coming again, so they were going to have that mock-ups done by September 8th. They just never told us which September 8th.
Yeah, that's true. We've still never heard of anything about that yet at all. Yeah, it's not appropriate. We should know everything about what's going on. Yeah, not less, but definitely more.
Is there anything more you want to just say to the people of Sioux Falls?
Well, I want to thank once again the people of Sioux Falls for. Actually, I've been on the city council now for almost 8 years, and I'll continue to be on the city council until about the middle of May, when we have another person taking over my position. So I've got a few more months left, and I want to once again thank the citizens of Sioux Falls for their support in the past. We have a wonderful city. We're very, very fortunate. And we have some wonderful people here in Sioux Falls. And we've been very fortunate as a city, too, to be growing and be prosperous. And we want to continue with that, too.
Well, for those of us in Sioux Falls and the people that be watching this on Southdacola, and that we really appreciate everything you've done, Kermit. And we always knew that even though that we didn't always agree with the stands you took, that we always appreciated that you tried.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't expect anybody to agree with everything that I've done on the city council or whatever, but the important thing is to be able to converse with people with different points of view, and also at the same time, I hope that some of my positions, people will be accepting those positions, and then in the future, constantly trying to say, well, why do we have to have a property tax increase every year? That's really one of my big issues, and because we have a lot of people in Sioux Falls who, they're senior citizens, and sometimes they have a more difficult time with these property tax increases, and we don't want that to happen at all. No.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Kermit. Really appreciate this time you've taken with us, and we want to see you around and want to keep you speaking up.
Well, thank you very much. I hope in the future I can run for city council again. That's my goal.
We will. Well, Central District will be coming up again. You were once Central District.
That's right. For 8 years, I was in the Central District, and then 4 years. With the rest of the city, I was
at large.
At large, yes.
So we'll see about warming up the seat for you in 2 years.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Kermit.
You're welcome, Bruce.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.